Bob Woodward, The Price of Politics. Get ready to delve into an insightful exploration of the turbulent world of American politics, as Bob Woodward's The Price of Politics takes you on a journey through the highs and lows of the Obama administration and its struggle to pass a stimulus package during the height of the financial crisis. Discover the conflicting ideologies and fierce negotiations between the Democrats and Republicans, alongside the intricate relationships between key political players who shape the economic trajectories of the United States. This book summary sheds light on the intricate dance of political power plays and the implications they have on the nation's ability to combat debt.
Obama's struggle for economic recovery. Barack Obama's early administration was plagued with challenges in passing the stimulus package to rescue the American economy. While trying to establish rapport with Republican Congress members, the lines of disagreement between parties became evident. Democrats pushed to raise revenue by allowing Bush-era tax cuts to lapse, while Republicans sought to cut Social Security, Medicare, and other benefit programs without raising taxes. These disparities were never settled in 2009, and they significantly tainted relations between the executive and legislative branches for the remainder of Obama's first term. Obama's administration proposed a budget to address the nation's looming debt and spending issues, but his economic advisers felt it did not adequately address the impending expiration of the Bush tax cuts and other matters. Despite these challenges, the Obama administration successfully passed healthcare reform in 2010. The political climate of Washington in the 2010s. After the 2010 midterm election, Republicans gained control of the House of Representatives, and the Democratic Congress passed the Bush tax cuts for 2 more years, prolonged the payroll tax cut, and approved another 13 months of unemployment insurance, worsening the deficit and national debt. The U.S. had a legal debt limit of $14.7 trillion, and the government needed to increase that limit during the summer of 2011, or the nation would default on what it owed. The new GOP majority in the House used the threat of default to gain cuts in taxes and spending, setting the scene for the 2011 debt ceiling fight. Knowing that the president tended to be fiscally accommodating, the White House entered into debt ceiling negotiations with House Republicans, where the Minority Leader Biden played a crucial role. The debt ceiling debacle. In the spring of 2011, talks of raising the debt ceiling came to the forefront, causing tension between the Obama administration and the Republican Party. Despite efforts to find common ground, the talks broke down, leading to a stalemate that put the economy at risk. In 2011, the discussion of raising the debt ceiling caused tension between the Obama administration and the Republican Party. The president's speech, which criticized the Republican budget proposals while GOP leaders were present, created controversy and mistrust. The Democrats were willing to accept spending cuts in exchange for raising the debt ceiling, while the large Tea Party caucus of the Republican Party opposed any increase in the debt ceiling. John Boehner, the Republican Speaker of the House at that time, realized he needed Democratic support to avoid damaging the economy. Vice President Joe Biden attempted to find common ground between the parties by bringing together a working group, but the discussions were difficult. Boehner struggled to navigate among the 4 groups within his party, which included members who had vowed to cut government spending and those who favored the entitlement reform budget. As the discussions progressed, tensions rose, and the working group broke down over the question of extending the payroll tax holiday. Despite efforts to come to an agreement, the stalemate continued, and the press portrayed it as the fault of Cantor, the GOP, and Boehner. This lack of agreement put the economy at risk, and the talks ultimately failed to accomplish anything significant. The debt ceiling debacle of 2011 serves as a cautionary tale about the damage that can result from political infighting and ideological rigidity. The failed negotiations between Obama and Boehner. During the debt limit negotiations between President Obama and Speaker Boehner in 2011, efforts to reach a grand bargain on entitlement cuts and tax revenues collapsed due to the upcoming election and the competing interests of their respective parties. While both sides explored compromise, leaks to the press and pressure from extreme members of Boehner's caucus led to the breakdown of negotiations. Boehner ultimately developed a backup plan, frustrating Obama, who believed progress was being made. The two leaders had different economic philosophies, with Obama viewing government spending as a tool for job creation while many Republicans rejected this approach. Boehner felt that Congress should have worked out budget details, and he was irritated by the president's push for regular meetings at the White House. Despite secret negotiations between their staffs, the two leaders had little respect for each other, and the negotiations ultimately failed, with both sides feeling they were giving away too much. The debt ceiling crisis. Negotiations between the White House and House Republicans for the U.S. debt ceiling took on the atmosphere of a serious crisis in mid-July. Treasury Secretary Tim Geithner predicted dire consequences if the U.S. defaulted on its debts, which would worsen the 1930s Great Depression. Obama and Boehner were closing in on a deal, but two misfortunes occurred. A bipartisan group of senators released a budget proposal demanding more revenue than Obama's proposal, which cornered the president, and a disastrous phone conversation between Obama and Boehner intensified their differences. Obama suggested that if Boehner needed Democratic votes, he had to add more revenue to attract those votes, but Boehner recalled the conversation as the president's demand for additional revenue, or he would scuttle the deal. Boehner surprisingly ended the talks, and both leaders gave press conferences blaming each other for the collapse of negotiations. When Obama tried to restart negotiations, Boehner refused to take his calls for hours, an unprecedented break of Washington etiquette. Resolving the debt crisis. This book excerpt narrates how the Republicans and Democrats developed a bipartisan super committee to address the budget issues that had impeded previous talks. Their goal was to find a resolution to the debt limit problem, which the president indicated could not be signed unless the limit was extended beyond 2012. The solution involved an agreement for massive spending cuts and a pledge to resolve long-term issues under the threat of future cuts. While both parties agreed to the concept of sequestration, endless talks on tax revenue versus entitlement reform prevented the supercommittee from arriving at a solution. Boehner, the Republican speaker, considered the failure to reach an agreement his greatest career frustration, blaming the president for not cutting entitlements. Meanwhile, the White House team viewed Boehner as a weak leader who could not manage his own caucus.
As the curtain falls on the price of politics, we are left with valuable insights into the strengths and weaknesses of Barack Obama's administration, along with the stark clashes of ideology between the Democrats and Republicans. Throughout this journey, we have witnessed the intricate chess games played by key political figures, and their enduring effects on the nation's approach to economic challenges. Despite the many clashes and failed negotiations, the Obama administration eventually achieved its goals through compromise and political skill. Ultimately, this book teaches us the significance of understanding the complexities of political negotiations and their powerful impact on the nation's ability to tackle economic challenges and shape its future.